Dear members of the audience of the Varro Theatre, tonight is a very important night. Tonight is a night when dead leaves fly like witches on switches across the sky, when elf and sprite flit through the night on a moony sheen. Tonight is the night when leaves make a sound like a gnome in his home under the ground, when spooks and trolls creep out of holes mossy and green. Tonight is the night when pumpkins stare through sheaves and leaves everywhere, when ghouls and ghost and goblin host dance round their queen. It's Halloween. Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see, this is a town of Halloween. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Trick or treat till the neighbors gonna die afraid. It's a town, everybody scream, in this town of Halloween.
I am the one hiding in your bed, teeth brown sharp and eyes glowing red.
I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween. In this town we call home, everybody hail to the pumpkin song.
In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise.
Round that corner man hiding in the trash can,
Something's waiting now to pounce, and how you scream. This is Halloween, red and black. Aren't you scared?
That's just fine. Say it once, say it twice. Take a chance and roll the dice. Right with the moon in the dead of night.
Everybody scream, everybody scream.
in the town of Halloween.
The terror my face. Here in a flash and gone without a trace.
I am the who when they say who's there. I am the wind blowing through your hair.
I am the shadow on the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fright.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween.
And the ramblings everywhere, life's no fun without a good scare.
That's our job
But we're not living in our town of Halloween.
In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack might catch you in the back and scream like a banshee.
Out of your skin.
Would you please make way for a very special guy? Our man Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everybody hail to the Pumpkin King now. This is Halloween, Halloween. In this town we call home, everybody hails to the pumpkin song. Welcome all to our spooky show tonight. I am Merryjest the Cheshire Cat, and it is a pleasure to see all of you tonight. Tonight, we will speak of many scary stories. And to begin with, we go to the shores of ancient Crete, where King Idomeneo has just returned from the War of Troy. In the War of Troy, King Idomeneo dared to spill the blood of an Amazon, the Amazon Bremusa, who is a daughter of Ares and Harmonia. And for this crime, King Idomeneus has been cursed by the King of the Seas. In order to placate Poseidon, and thus allow safe passage back to his beloved Crete. King Idomeneus strikes a bargain. Yes, how rude. Poseidon tells him that he will allow his army to return home, but only if he sacrifices the first person that King Idomeneo runs into when he returns to Crete. And that person turns out to be the first person that he sees, his own son. And in this aria from the opera Idomeneo by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, King Idomeneo is contemplating the terrible, bloody act that he must perform. And he is already seeing the ghost of his own child screaming at him, "I was innocent."
Nel sen trafitto del corpo e sangue il mio delito lo sparso sangue m'aditerà lo sparso sangue m'aditerà qual spavento, qual dolore, qual spavento, qual dolore. Di tormento questo cuore, quante volte morirà. Quante volte morirà. Qual spavento, qual dolore, qual spavento, qual dolore. Di tormento questo cuore, quante volte morirà. Quante volte morirà di tormento questo cuore, quante volte morirà, quante volte morirà, quante volte morirà, morirà, morirà.
And now we speak of further horrors. There's an opera called Il Trovatore, The Troubadour, by Giuseppe Verdi. And in this is quite a blood-chilling tale. In this story, we have a Roma woman by the name of Azucena, who is traumatized because her mother was persecuted by the local noblemen, and she was sentenced to die in the pyre for it. Azucena swears vengeance upon this man who dared to accuse her mother of witchcraft. And so, cunningly, through her contacts, she is able to kidnap this nobleman's son. And she swears in her vengeance that she will visit upon him the same hateful deed that he visited upon his mother. Still racked with grief and absolutely heartbroken, she holds on to her son with one hand and to the Baron's son with the other. She lights the pyre and waits until the flames are leaping high. And then, a victim of grief and madness, she pushes the infant into the fire. It is only then, when she hears the voice of her own son, that she realizes that in her grief, she pushed the wrong child into the pyre. The Duke's son, Manrico, is then raised by Azucena as her own child. He grows up, and he eventually becomes a leader of the resistance against the Baron. But history repeats itself, because Manrico's mother, Azucena, she who raised him as her own son, is captured by the Baron, and she is set to be burned at the stake tomorrow. And so Manrico, in a bout of hopeless courage, because he knows he will not succeed, he rallies his troops to go rescue his mother, to save her from that horrendous pyre.
Di quella vita llorando poco, tutte le fibre ma si avvampò, e vi segnete l'occhio fra poco, col sangue vostro la spegnerò, era già figlio prima d'amarti, non può frenarti il tuo martir, ma tentene che corro a salvarte, a te
Okay. So that was an intense aria. It's an intense opera, in fact, because, well, opera things happen and everybody ends up dead at the end of it. In fact, well, except that, well, Azucena probably dies. Oh, if you think that was intense, if you go see the opera, it is absolutely amazing music, but also like bring a box of tissues, bring an emotional support pet, bring a boyfriend. It's one of those operas that you have to go say, I am going to go see a tragedy. Oh yes, please do support this venue, this incredibly generous venue that puts up with all of my insanity. I come up with a different program every week because I am insane and I hate myself. And if you want to follow what I do, to the right of the house, right by the stage, you will be able to see my subscriber. If you are maxed out of groups, because groups are a premium in Second Life, you can click on the little subscribe dialogue in the caterpillar, and that will subscribe you to my subscriber group. Otherwise, you can also join the Discord, and you can join my group as well. Aw, we love you guys. I love you, Gary. So now, I would like to tell you something creepy. There is, of course, a play by Goethe, that very famous German poet, called Faust. And you've heard, of course, what a Faustian bargain is. Faust's bargain, of course, in the play and in the opera that Gounod wrote, and many others have, that many others have adapted, is the tale of a man who was disenchanted with his knowledge. He was a scientist, he was also a bit of a mystic, and his life has come close to the end, and he is completely dissatisfied. He feels that he has missed out on so many things because he has, perhaps in his own mind, pointlessly pursued knowledge. And so, as it happens in this dark night of his soul, when he says, I would give anything to have my youth back and be able to spend it how I wish I could have spent it, finding love, encountering other people, etc. Yes, and Faust is a magnificent play. And so, as he's saying these things to himself, who should appear but Old Scratch? Lucky Nick, the devil himself. And the devil is more than happy to grant Faust his wishes in exchange of a little trifle, really, something he wouldn't really miss now, would he? All he wants from Faust is his soul. Of course, Faust, in the context of most operas, is a tenor, and therefore we tenors are not known for our great intelligence. So he goes, sure, why not? I'll do it. And he signs the pact, and voila, he becomes a handsome young man. And then he goes into town. Because he is that kind of a young man, he is a walking dumpster fire, so to speak. And he meets this young woman. In the opera by Gounod, it is Marguerite. In the original, it is Gretchen, because it is German. I can't imagine why Gounod did not want the tenor to go, Salut de Mère Gretchen. I mean, it's probably something to do with the language, French, But he meets Gretchen, and she falls absolutely madly in love with him, to the point that she finds that all of her principles are starting to slip. She was brought up a good girl, and she's very faithful, and she's etc. And suddenly comes this man, and she's just absolutely, she doesn't know what to do. And so Franz Schubert, the king of the German art song, adapted this section where Gretchen is at her spinning wheel, and her thoughts are spinning. They're spinning all around Faust, about his kisses, about his beautiful hair, about essentially giving herself over to him, because her peace is gone, her heart is a wreck. And Schubert does a wonderful setting of this into a standalone song. And listen to the piano, to what the piano does in the background, because he illustrates the spinning of the wheel that Gretchen is spinning. And he illustrates the spinning, the recurring nature of her spinning thoughts, because the melodic elements keep coming back almost obsessively to repeat themselves as she sings about how her peace is broken. For you, by Franz Schubert, Gretchen am Spinnrade. Gretchen at her spinning wheel.
Meine Ruhe ist hin, mein Herz ist schwer. Ich finde sie nimmer und nimmer mehr. Wo ich ihn nicht hab, ist mir das Grab, die ganze Welt ist mir vergällt. Mein armer Kopf ist mir verrückt, mein armer Sinn ist mir zerstückt. Meine Ruhe ist hin, mein Herz ist schwer. Ich finde sie nimmer und nimmer mehr. Nach ihm nur schau ich zum Festland hinaus, nach ihm nur geh ich aus dem Haus. Sein hoher Gang, sein edle Gestalt, seine Mundeslächeln, seine Augengewalt und seine Herde Zauberfluss, sein Händedrück und ach, sein Kuss. Meine Ruhe ist hin, mein Herz ist schwer. Ich finde sie nimmer und nimmer mehr. Mein Busen drängt sich nach ihm hin, ein dürf ich fesseln und halten ihn und küssen ihn, so wie ich wollt, auch seinen Küssen vergehen sollt. Und könnt ich küssen, so wie ich wollt, ein seine Küssen vergeben sollt, ein seine Küssen vergeben sollt. Meine Ruhe ist hin, mein Herz ist schwer.
There is a reason why Franz Schubert is considered to be the king and the leader. For those of you who haven't been exposed, it is very much anguish. Angst, Sturm und Drang, it's all of that. Thank you, Kaisel. Thank you, Rock. People ask me often, what is the difference between, an aria in an opera and an art song? What's the difference? Well, it's very easy. said he. It'll get complicated later, but it's very easy. An aria is usually something that takes place, it is part of a staged work. So, and it usually is, it is a solo song by a character in an opera, or an opera, or an operetta, or an oratorio, but it takes place as part of a larger work of theater. And thank you, Sammy. Whereas an art song is a poem that the poet may have read, or in some cases, composed him or herself, and then set it to music. So they tend to be little standalone pieces of music creativity. Basically, just a song is really just a song. The difference is that sometimes, the difference between popular songs and art songs is that sometimes composers will read a whole bunch of, yes, Malachi, Think of Me would be considered an aria in the context of the thing. Sometimes composers will read a whole bunch of poems and they'll go, I want to set all of these just to music. And so they set them all to music. Usually they're part of a collection of poems or collected works. And so they're sometimes or often performed together. And that's when they're called a song cycle or a Liederkreis. Lieder is the German word for songs. Lied is the German word for song, singular, plural. You could consider the Liederkreis in the classical sense to be kind of like the concept album in some of the progressive rock and things of that sort. So now that we are in a proper German sense of mind, we're going to go, and I want to, because there was just no possible way that I wouldn't sing a song by one of my favorite composers in the spooky month after doing German, Mr. Kurt Weill, everyone. And yes, you know this song. You've heard it. There is an opera called the Threepenny Opera that Kurt Weill wrote and Bertolt Brecht wrote the words for. And it is a great little piece if you ever get to hear it. This song is the Ballad of Mac the Knife, Mackie Messa. And some of you have heard it because Bobby Darin turned it into a wonderful swing piece. Oh, the shark has pretty teeth, dear, and he shows them pearly white. Someday I'll do a jazz and swing standard concert. But that version is not the version from the opera. The version from the opera is much creepier, and the lyrics are much more disturbing because they're about a serial killer, Mackie Messa, or Mac the Knife. And one of these days I would like to get the original backing, the original accompaniment for this, because in the opera, when you hear this song, it's sung by a creepy street organ grinder. And so you hear this eerie, that's my impression of an organ grinder's organ. So accuracy may be different, but you hear this very reedy, very creepy song, and then you hear this haunting melody about this psychopath. And so here we go for Mac the Knife.
Und der Haifisch, der hat Zähne, und die trägt im Gesicht. Und Mackie, der hat ein Messer, doch das Messer sieht man nicht. An dem schönen blauen Sonntag liegt ein toter Mann am Strand und ein Mensch geht um die Ecke, den Mackie Messer nennt. Und Schmulmeier bleibt verschwunden, und so mancher reiche Mann und sein Geld hat Mackie Messer, dem man nichts beweisen kann. Jenny Tauler ward gefunden mit nem Messer in der Brust. Und am Kai geht Mackie Messer, der von allem nichts gewusst. Und die minderjährige Witwe, deren Name nieder weiß, wachte auf und war gespendet. Mackie, welches war dein Preis? Und die einen sind im Dunkeln und die anderen sind im Licht. Doch man sieht nur die im Lichte, die im Dunkeln sieht man nicht. Doch man sieht nur die im Lichte, die im Dunkeln sieht man nicht.
I wonder how many of you caught that at the beginning of this song. I almost sneezed and I had to stop myself because I don't know if this happens to any of you. Thank you, Rio. Thank you. Kaiser. Yeah, those, they never catch them. I have to kind of create that fake sneeze to cut myself off, because if I let myself have a real sneeze, I can chain those babies between 8, 9, and 10 sneezes in a row. And I couldn't do that starting this song or any song whatsoever. So I kind of have to create an artificial cat sneeze so I don't just go on a bender. But, you know, yes, sneeze attacks. I actually stopped my French class once because they were staring at me, wondering if I was going to have a seizure because I just kept sneezing and sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. So, you know, this is really the best season for me. I don't know if it's your favorite season as well, you know, the spooky season. Krim over there in the audience, thank you, Stefan, in the audience is doing a reading. And I believe this Sunday will be the last episode. I mean, The Loneliest October by Zeleny, which is one of my favorite books. He does them at the horny... God damn it. The hairy frog, not the horny toad. Okay, when I put this program together, I was severely sleep deprived, and I'm still not entirely back to it. I'm sorry, Krim. I need water. 1 second, I need water. But so no, this is the best month, right? And so. Kenia. Let's not theorize as to what book they'd be reading at the Horny Toad. Well, you know, I find it absolutely bizarre that there are some people who don't like this month and this season. You know, I've heard of a thing But, until I heard someone sing about it, I couldn't quite encompass the thought that someone might be fed up with Halloween. But then, well, listen to this guy.
There are few who deny at what I do I am the best, for my talents are renowned far and wide. When it comes to surprises in the moonlit night, I excel without ever even trying. With the slightest little effort of my ghost-like charms, I have seen grown men give out a shriek. With a wave of my hand and a well-placed moan, I have swept the very bravest off their feet. Yet year after year is the same routine, and I grow so weary of the sound of screams. And I, Jack, the Pumpkin King, have grown so tired of the same old thing. Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones, an emptiness began to grow. There's something out there far from my home, a longing that I've never known. I'm a master of fright and a demon of light, and I'll scare you right out of your pants. To a guy in Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France. And since I am dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations. No animal nor man can scream like I can with the fury of my recitations. But who here would even understand that the Pumpkin King with a skeleton grin would tire of his crown if they only understood? He'd give it all up if he only could. Oh, there's an empty place in my bones that calls out for something unknown. The fame and praise come year after year, does nothing for these empty tears.
And so, we heard the story of someone who inconceivably doesn't like Halloween. Can you believe that? I mean, look at me. Every day is Halloween for me. In fact, I seem to recall hearing a story once long ago of a certain town in a certain place by the name of Salem. And this town had a long history of witchcraft, or so they say. And this town was plagued, though some might object to the term, by a presence, macabre and foul, of three sisters weird and wild. And one such sister, about 30 years ago, was heard singing over the roofs of the town. And the children of Salem heard her. And those who still recall the event to this day will tell you that as she floated away, they heard this from her.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion. Hush now, dear children, it must be this way. Hush now, sweet children, it must be this way, to weary of life and deceptions.
Well now, this is slander. I want to find the person behind such foul lies. Will you tell me who it is? Who is it? You in the crowd over there. The little one. Tell me who. You're silent, I see. Silent and still. Well, no matter at all, because I have ways of making you speak. Indeed, I have backup. Sisters, I summon thee! Sisters, where art thou? Join me! Ah, they approach. Wayward sisters, you that fright the lonely traveler by night, who, like dismal ravens crying, hear the windows of the dying, appear at my call and share in this misfit. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do. I ain't lying. It's been 300 years, right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. Hello, Salem. My name's Winifred. What's yours? I put a spell on you.
tsunami fell on you, and it was strong. Your wretched little life have all been cursed because of all the witches working. I'm the worst. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. She's lying.
If you don't believe, you better get superstitious. Ask my sisters.
She's vicious.
I'm gonna put a spell on you. A wicked spell on you. I'm gonna put a spell on you, sisters. I say into pie, alpha maybe up and die.
I'll say into pie, alpha maybe up and die.
In Karakoreama.
In Kamakoriyama.
Hey, say bye.
Say
Bye bye. And you still resist me. I do not see anyone coming forth to claim responsibility for this. What do you say, sisters? Should we? I think we should. We should probably teach them a lesson of what it means to slander a witch. Salem, you asked for it. For our final number, the three weird sisters shall put you under a spell, and we will find you. Oh, yes, we will. One way or another, I'm gonna find ya. I'm gonna get ya, get ya, get ya, get ya. One day or another, I'm gonna win ya. I'm gonna get ya, get ya, get ya, get ya. One way or another, I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya, meet ya, meet ya, meet ya. One day, maybe real soon, I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya, I'll meet ya. And when the sun has gone down, we'll fly our broomsticks downtown to spy who's around. Sisters, one way or another, we're gonna find ya. We're gonna get ya, get ya, get ya, get ya. One day or another, we're gonna grab ya.
I'll love ya, I'll chop ya.
One way or another, we're gonna snatch ya. I'm gonna catch ya, dispatch ya. One day, maybe next week, we're gonna grip ya.
And then we'll trip ya. I'll rip ya. Now lead us, Salem. Lead us to the mayor.
And like a hawk in the night, we'll scoop you up for a flight. Then we'll take a bite. 1, 2, 3, 4. I say into pie, up and maybe up and die. In Kamakoriyama. Hey, hi, come on, baby, up and die. We're gonna chew ya, and even witches brew ya. We're retching through ya, and hoopa-doopa-doo ya. We're gonna slay ya, and probably fillet ya. We might have sent you, but we get you one way or another. We're gonna find ya. We're gonna get you one way or another. We're gonna trick ya. I'm gonna stick ya. I'll kick ya. One way or another. We're gonna meet ya. We're gonna cheat ya, beat ya, then defeat ya one way. Ooh, maybe right now. No more debating. It's aggravating. Satan's waiting, saying one way or another. And that was tonight's show. For the greatest season of them all, I want to thank Malachi and Kenia for being such good sports and coming up here and taking part of my insanity. And I want to thank you for being such a great audience. And I hope you'll come back, and I hope that you will come and support all of the other events that happened here in this sim at the Carnaval Macabre.